Well, they're the hot gifts for the holiday season, but could those personal digital assistants like the Amazon Echo and Google Home come with a risk to your privacy and safety? At a news conference today, a representative from Consumer Watchdog demonstrated what he thinks should be done with those devices that are intended to provide voice-activated assistance in the home. The Watchdog group says that it has found evidence in the plans and patent applications for the devices that shows an intent to spy on the public with those very digital assistants.
John Simpson is a privacy director for Consumer Watchdog, and he's here to tell us more. We saw you with the hammer.
Just making a point.
Making a point. Are we talking about the current product out there?
We're talking about two things. I mean, these things already are amassing tremendous amounts of information about the people who leave them on in their homes. What we also looked at are future plans that were revealed in the patents that have been filed, and some of those, I think, are the most disconcerting.
So, John, are you just warning people, or are you urging people not to buy them?
Well, look, I mean, I think people first need to know the amount of personal data that can be gathered about them right now. Okay. And so, for instance, if you do want to have these things and you find it convenient to, I don't know, turn on your TV by talking to a gadget, fine, do that. But understand that it's listening to everything you're saying all the time. What you need to do is, when you don't want that happening, unplug it. Don't have it on just there. You know, you should become the master of the device, not let Google and Amazon be the masters of you and your life.
All right, so they're gathering information that can be useful to you,
well,
but useful to them.
But so it's much more about useful to them, so they can commercialize that data and essentially sell you and all, you know, who you are to big advertisers.
And is there concern also with hackers?
And that is another problem. Once you have a huge database, you don't know who's going to get access to it. Think about Equifax and what happened there.
Is it that more dangerous, though, than Uber or even using your card at the grocery store?
Well, I mean, I think that all of these things are gathering more and more information about us, and in ways that we don't always understand, and that we're driving very hard to make people at least aware of what's being done to them and who is snooping on you.
All right, so those devices were big time on sale over the holidays. I know because I was looking at them. So the concern is people kind of like this high-tech stuff. Hey, Alexa, turn on my TV, like you said. Hey, Alexa, what's the temperature? Hey, Alexa, how do you cook an egg?
Well, you know, it comes for a price, and the price is your data. And that's what we want people to be aware of. And just like with your cell phone and cell phone apps, you can turn off some things and not share it. I'm suggesting at a minimum, if you're using these devices, don't leave it on all the time. Unplug it, turn it off, so it can't continually listen and eavesdrop on everything you do and say.
Right, so be your own advocate.
Wow. Absolutely.
Is any part of this, John, though, against the law?
Nothing like this is against the law right now, particularly if they tell you what they're doing in their privacy policies. Where they might get into trouble is if they overreach and start to do and snoop more than they say they are doing, which Google, in fact, did with the Safari browser a few years back, and in fact ended up paying $22.5 million in a fine in response to a complaint that we brought.
Well, we think of like Facebook that tailors the ads to you. Is it much like that, or is it more so with these patent applications?
Well, I think Facebook tailors based just on what you're doing on Facebook. These patent applications spell out a plan for a much broader sort of information input. So it would be not just what you're doing online, it's everything that you do in your house. You know, when you went to bed and who you woke up with. You know, it's just... It's too much. That's the problem.
Now, you said you looked at what's coming down the road for the future. Do you ever see that information is sold to a third party?
Right now, they're saying that it's not being sold, but what they're doing is selling access to that information, so they target the ads towards you right now. That's not so. So you say, all right, find people who are interested in traveling to a certain place. Okay, somebody who wants to advertise travel there would target that group of people. But once that data is there, there's nothing really, I think, to stop these companies from completely becoming data brokers and making it available to anybody for the highest bidder.
In the long run, can you stop these tech advances? Do you want to stop these tech advances? What's the greater picture here for you?
I'm not a Luddite. I think that technology is going to pay off and do good things for us. I just think that just because the technological companies can do it doesn't absolve them from a moral responsibility to, have a soul and to sometimes do the right thing. And they need to be transparent about what they're doing. And we need to be willing to call them out and, by golly, take a hammer to them when it's necessary.
All right, John Simpson, we thank you so much for your thoughts today.
Very
Hopefully you won't have to use that hammer anytime in the near
Occasionally
future.
we might. Thank you.
So you get when you can unplug it and not hammer.
Yeah.